Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to The Vagrant. So we are working our way through this game, and there's a danger of the game being too long, there's a danger of the game being too short. Like, we're getting led around by the nose as far as people just forcing us to do things instead of the main character wanting to really volunteer to do things or acting even slightly like they're even the good guy in the story. I'm not really sure. Man, every single time I hit that. And yeah, I just don't know if you can really like a character that is just being forced to participate and wouldn't actively try to participate in in the events of this story. It seems like you can do a pretty decent amount of grinding. Now I'm suspecting that I'm gonna hit here and it's gonna say I can't go to this kingdom because the story doesn't want me to go this way. There's no need to head in that direction right now. So yeah, this is twice now has been the way in which the game has gone, where I have mapped out areas. What's funny is there's just like very specific spots here where it seems like it's starting to rain, and I assume it's starting to rain, and that isn't a glitch. And yeah, the game is not really doing a good job of pointing us in the right direction. And now we're camping yet again. We'll set up camp here, wait for me, I'll return with the crown. We're leaving the boy behind, which the boy is a character really visually isn't that appealing and hasn't said anything storyline wise to be that appealing. So I feel like it would be fairly weird if it turns out that we grow some actual care for this boy and have to save him, although that may be the direction the game goes. Our main character in her bikini armor has her hood up, which arguably when you look at that cloak, it seems like the implication there is that she either is trying to avoid being seen while next to a campfire at night, spotted by monsters, I would assume, which doesn't make any sense. They'd spot the campfire for sure. Or she's trying to be warm, and yet she is not cold anywhere below the neck. She's only cold on her head. This is where you get the contradictions of, like, what is the actual action here and what is the desire here to have a cloak. Let's see. Don't even think about running off. Yes, no running off, or the witch of Veride will kill me. Madam isn't like that. But she is a member of the academy, so I'm not surprised. Why are you and the old hag treating her like that? She doesn't deserve such cruel words. You don't know much about the alchemy that you take so much pride in, do you? Don't you spread any lies about the academy. The academy is an institution of great deeds. Fine, I won't say anything I won't say any more then. I'll be off now. And if I'm not back by the morning, alert Hollowborn. So I wish you all the best, Miss Vivian. Thank you, Camden. Be well. So did that conversation really need to be a separate conversation in front of a campfire, or could have just been a conversation in front of an exit to an area? Here we can see Camden having a conversation magically with the other wizard lady, which I would assume Vivian would not be around to hear this conversation, so We're now following a story that covers multiple characters instead of being more focused only on the main protagonist. Of course, dear Camden, how goes the progress with the task? Camden reports everything to Holborn. I see. The old hag is just as troublesome as she used to be. Be that as it may, Camden, you're to continue supervising the Rune Warden and remember to set up a ward. Esgoni can be quite dangerous. Of course, madam, the ward is already set up. Wonderful, Camden. Do I detect a note of sadness in your words? I want to stay with you. Camden, you are so very sweet, but I'm afraid there's some very important business I must attend to. Supervising the Rune Warden is just as important, though, and I trust you won't disappoint me. Yes, madam. You're the only one I can rely on, dear Camden. After our tasks are finished, we shall reunite. Yes, madam. Good boy. Keep me updated. As you wish, madam. Please be safe. There's a decent chance that the wizard lady he was just talking to is actually infected with a bad guy spirit and is off doing some evil task preparations. Or do anything for Madame Holborn. The Rune Warden and the old hag just can't see her brilliant vision. I have to remember that. Yeah. So you have this like save point right next to a save point, which doesn't really make the most of sense. I really do think I may be better off just moving over to using the D-pad at this point. The problem with it, though, is I just don't want to use D-pad controls instead of left analog stick controls. When fighting. I don't mind it when walking. And that's kind of a great example there of what I'd like more of these rooms to be. I would definitely appreciate if they became more long hallways with more enemies so that there is a, let's see, faster movement around all of it. This guy's getting frozen quite a bit there, which is weird because I don't think my weapon has a freezing ability. We found the turtle statue. You can unlock a new ability with it. It does seem to me like what would we have needed to unlock an ability with? It's like, do we have enough here to purchase this? Yes. So we now have greed unlocked, which probably means anything else will be out the window. And they said ability, but I'm not 100% sure that it actually was an ability that you can unlock. Because this one required Thunderheart. And then this one requires Essence of Fire. And this one requires Flaming Stone. If there was another thing here that you couldn't unlock before, and Turtle Statue unlocked that. Impulse Blade. Potentially. Impulse Blade now has piercing effect. A double jump here also has an intriguing possibility. Yeah, I don't see anything here like that. Item, key item. Grants great focus. Great focus is forged within the shell of the statue. It unlocks strength level 2. Okay. So it is an ability. It's just strength level 2 here. That required the turtle statue. Alright. Does anything else require that? No. So you just can't go in specific directions until you get specific items, which is an odd combination, certainly. It's an odd way for things to go down. And inherently, it really just gives me the feeling that there's a lot of extra hallways that can lead towards going towards a extra item or an extra ability, and that this game is particularly designed in a way to make you want to search every single little item in every single area. Right. Minor fire damage and critical damage major. That is way better, so go ahead and equip that. And then at some point it's just going to come down to, do we want to start trying to dismantle things? I notice I have this luck ability also, and that must be from some kind of accessory that we get later. And there's no way to really sort any of this stuff also, so me potentially taking damage on a regular fight seems to be pretty low chances of that. Me taking damage in the middle of a bigger fight does seem somewhat possible. So let's find out where this goes. It's just one more extra room. Kind of desert and themes. This guy seems to have a lot of defense, or just a general large amount of health, so we can see where attack probably will be helpful. This doesn't feel like a game where you want to potentially end up just having to do 400, 500 hit combos for to feed enemies, even if that would be doable, which it may very well be doable. It's gonna get grindy and repetitive fairly quickly. They still really love to seem to design these maps with just very windy sections, which kind of betrays the idea of a map and implies that there's a lot more area than there really is. Of course, like I said at the beginning, I'm not sure at this point whether I want bigger maps, if it is just going to mostly be these hallways in which there's more pots to attack and than there are enemies. These guys do have health bars ahead of them. It seems to me like greed is working. We just picked up something that increased our rage. I tried to dodge that attack. Just tried to dodge that attack. I don't think the character really responds fast enough for you to pull off a dodge. You'd almost have to psychically see it coming, or just be a lot faster of a player than I am. So it looks to me like we're getting a first taste of something that is going to be more like a dungeon, and this background is more of what I would be expecting for all the yellow hair and the pale skin tone that you have of our main character Vivian here, so that her character would kind of pop out and stand out. So far, playing on normal may have been a mistake, because this feels too easy. But I still just don't know. If you told me there was 2 hours more of content, I would go, oh, well, this is too easy. Obviously, I should play this on a harder difficulty. If you told me there was 60, 70 more hours of content, like, that would be a big different experience. I don't know if I'm triggering traps as far as these spikes popping up, or what. And more we're gonna have to have these running experiences where we're working our way across. Interesting. There's a double jump that unlocks, and I don't have it yet, obviously. I can't imagine I will need health potions at all. And there is just, I assume, another path that is higher up here that I can't reach. Let's wait until that goes away. Although, with my whole health situation now, this door is locked. Yes, no. Well, what does a yes do mean? It means nothing. Without a double jump, I don't know how I'm supposed to reach this platform. Let's see if maybe running gets me that way. That was the first time we've ever had to do anything like that, and it really should have been a situation where it cut me some slack and didn't have enemies shooting at me during the process. In a lot of ways, I guess this is trying to remind the player that jumping is a thing. But I don't know if reminding the player that jumping is a thing is particularly accomplished when you have people after people just attacking you. I suppose if those statues didn't make sound effects, I would think that they were unbreakable. Is there anything over here? Nope. I'd like to unlock some more strong attacks and combo attacks, and I suppose my mana is fairly high to think about doing that. You definitely get a different experience when you're fighting these stronger enemies than when you're having to focus on the high attacks. If you're gonna have enemies that shoot you with arrows, though, I think something better than a dodge is necessary. Okay. 5 attack versus abilities. Potion cooldowns. It's not a big one to go for. Defense, and then right trigger would unlock dodging, which I thought we already had dodging. So why do I have to purchase it again? Let's see. So you can't unlock perks for most things at a level 2 version, but this you can unlock a level 2. Fierce Strike, increase the number of hits with Fierce Strike. Impulse Blade now has a piercing effect. That also is probably worth it. Not qualified to unlock this, which probably means we have to purchase this and this. Let's see. XXY for 50. We want the buttons to do something, is what we want at the core of this. Now, that would be a lot. Heavy attacks deal more damage. XY. Critical attacks do more damage. Dodge when in air. I wonder if some of these only unlock or can be unlocked when you have like this and this unlocked. So we've spent a lot of mana there, and we've filled out more of this than I really thought we would. Like, I honestly kind of thought that the prices of unlocking all of this were going to be just way too high. But that seemed to work very well. So let's now see if our dodging actually works. So we've gone a very defensive build here. Interesting that I can rustle the flowers, but not kill it. And there are just traps I'm nosing. So let's just dodge through all of that and realize that that's a way better system to get through floor traps. We have no idea which way is the right direction, so we might as well just move in the direction we're moving. And all of a sudden the game is starting to feel like an actual Castlevania game. I don't know why these ghosts are chasing me all over the place, but they also are dying. Well, noticing I'm taking a lot of damage here. And I don't know if that's because I'm burnt or what. It seems like this might be an indication that we're in the wrong place. All of a sudden, I'm not quite getting I'm not getting that health recovery that I was before. So let's use a potion. Yeah, I don't know if that area is just particularly dangerous, or if I need some kind of special amulet or accessory, or what. Every time. It's just so natural to assume that B would be the way you would exit out of a room, out of the map. So I'm guessing what happens here is that either sometimes you pick up food that is different from ingredients, you get like finished meals, or I'm only taking a small amount of damage usually. So if I was to enchant this, I would need a bunch of runes. That's just not likely to happen. This is a better tier as far as just getting your defense up. And maybe the runes don't matter. It's very possible the runes don't matter. See, that was just a piece of cake food. They are kind of playing up stereotypes here, in that she's eating cakes and sweet foods, whereas for a warrior and someone spending as much, what was I gonna check? Energy as she is, she would probably stay away from sweet cakes and things like that and eat more protein type things. Of course, a protein shake dropping on the floor or wall chicken is a little weird. There is some chicken. I don't know what that food is even supposed to be. It's really dark. And so, let's see. To bake this, we need a meat chunk and butter. Give us plus 6% HP, 2% attack, and 2% defense. And I guess you just keep these forever. Or this one, which is plus 5% attack and 5% health. And it seems to me like it doesn't really show you where any of these buffs are. This would use a lot more egg, meat, and spice. I'll just cook that. Yeah. But then yeah, there's kind of nothing here. Do we want to go any further in any other direction? I think you are pretty much just going to want to purchase everything in a circle. I don't know if going in these directions matter. Maybe I should just be saving. It does kind of feel like everything else is going to be a little too expensive, and then the music stopped playing when we went into this menu. That's not even what I was looking for, though. What I'm looking for is something more. We're starting to see rage potions drop, which I don't think that's because we unlocked an ability, but maybe it is. But I certainly could see myself stop using health potions as much because they just don't really have that much value in them. I still want to stick with this weapon. How much would it be to enhance this weapon? It would cost mana. Now, there's a problem in that you just never know when you're actually going to be near a maximum level item, or when you're going to run into a maximum level item. So if I get a sword that does 100 damage and then I later find a sword that does 200 damage, how am I supposed to really tell? Although it would be fairly odd for the exact same type of sword to be that different. We're finally into a point where we're hitting some verticality, and it is not particularly good even at that. Now, is the goal here to jump over here? No. Okay. So you run into a wall there, which that lets you know this is not the direction to go. Then you run into a wall here. Well, let me ask this question. Can I pick things up from that spot? No. So I've got to figure out the right path of platforming. And I can immediately see a slight problem with the idea of this verticality, in that the AI of the bad guys does not know how to handle it. So I need to get a ridiculous amount of mana fairly early here, because to negotiate around this room without the double jump is really not possible. So in a lot of ways, we have hit what you would expect from a Metroid game. It's not super run or anything like that. It's not turning into a morph ball, but it is interesting. It is just a basic. I don't understand why this is here. You can't jump down. Doesn't feel like there's some door or path to unlock. So it's just a matter of getting really used to running and jumping. Yeah, I don't think I can get up there though. Which means that random drop of armor may be doomed to not be picked up. Like, you don't gain any height by doing that. Alright, so I guess the question is, where was the double jump? Jump once more while in the air. That's 200 there and 100 there. And then all of a sudden, the game is way easier. But you may still somewhat struggle to reach certain heights. So then the immediate question is, what's the next thing? Drop kick while in the air. There's no triple jump. Gold drop for 5,000. So yeah, they are really right about the square stars and the circle stars being the things that you should unlock in the ability. Where they're wrong though is for that to not just unlock by default. Like, double jump should have been unlocked when I entered this room or in an area that I would have had to have gotten through to enter this room. I really am just barreling my way through this entire section. That would have made so much more sense. And that's where a better designed Metroidvania game almost certainly would come into play, is that save space, right, that we just ran into probably should have led into some kind of, you're locked in a boss fight, you defeat that sub-boss, mini-boss fight, and in defeating that mini-boss fight you'll get the double jump ability. And since this is an area like this, this is really where that double jump ability would have come into play, is right about here. And some kind of like bird-like creature that is higher up and you may be a little bit difficult to attack without a double jump should have been the mini boss. We can see we are starting to see more of a dynamic zooming out, and that this was a pretty wide area with a lot of enemies and one special enemy, or one new enemy. I guess I don't need to check the map every time. It's not like we really have a lot of choices where we're going. Go on and save. Yeah, and so here we have a enemy that is somewhat of a boss fight. I've got to be way better at dodging. Interesting, it has this kind of like laser attack, and I don't know how you would address a laser attack in a medieval area, like a medieval fantasy game like this. This seems very mechanical. And again, we're starting to see where I need to be better on the defense, or I am going to run out of potions. Not that it really matters too much. I could be using my other sword that does considerable more damage. I guess the question is there any benefit in the lightning hits? I think there very well may be some benefits in the lightning hits, because it may lead to more of a hit combo. I don't think this game is actually depicting my health on a linear scale. That's fairly normal in video games. But it seems like 2 or 3 times now I've almost been close to death, and then I've looked up in the top left and realized I was close to death and had enough time to use a potion. Yeah. By the way, we're not using rage. Which There's probably not a great reason to not use the rage. We've pretty much got this in the bag, but I suppose anything could happen. I could not pay enough attention. We can see our rage attacks do build up, but it doesn't build up fast enough at the moment to really be useful. And we've just got an achievement for beating on that and nothing else, which that seems weird that you wouldn't get something more. And one food healed me completely. And we are just hitting the Y in the air. That's an ability, so unlock it. And then could we go with more attack? Yes, we could. Dealing 5% more damage when rage is full, I think would also be very useful. And yeah, we kind of need to figure out what our baseline is going to be as far as upgrades. Rising attack dealing more damage for 200. Power up or cost less rage. The double jump there didn't actually play much of a role. Found a skeleton key. Interesting, and it looks like we're gonna talk to a ghost here. So, I guess the question here is skeleton key is a special key decorated with a tiny skull. It's a key item. We only have one runestone. We're not getting a lot of those. We're just gonna wait until we can sell everything for the highest amount, I think, to purchase items. Which it does give the feeling that we very possibly are going to we're gonna end up doing a lot of shopping at the end of the game. Okay. 86 damage with this versus 69 damage. Although I do enjoy the extra damage. I think freezing on point of impact is also better. And then I think at this point we've got to we have to experiment with disposing this one. Dispose equipment will no longer be in your inventory. Let's see. Disposing success, you've gained the following items and disposing 5 mana and 2 haggle 2. Let's see. So dispose of that one also. Seems like your odds are high as far as how that's all going to work. So that increases our critical chance up to 3.2% with the snowflake. And I guess the real danger here would be if we wanted to enhance this one. We wouldn't have enough mana. But if we did enhance it once, then we could put one more item in it. We now have a chainmail that has 18. And let's see. Sorry. I keep forgetting This is why I didn't have alarm clocks in the past. Is that they go off at the most inconvenient times. So, if we have to do the next experiment here and dispose of this and just see if we get both of them back, and we didn't. We only got one of them back. So, unless we unlock some new ability that allows us to dispose of things better, I wouldn't want to dispose of this one. I do want to equip this one. And I suppose just disposing of this as an experiment will just give us 2 mana, which is totally not worth it compared to the amount of gold you could probably have sold that for. But whatever. Max HP by a small amount. There we go. So we have combo attack increase, max HP increase, and max rage increase. And then we have some other things here. Decrease damage taken by 5%, decrease damage by 5%. I'd imagine now selling the amulet might be the best thing. Increase gold drop by 10%. Let's see. Let's go greedy and go with that. And then let's actually get back into the game. So we're going to have this whole conversation with this ghost. And then it's going to send us back to the beginning. And I guess this is slightly off the fetish. Instead of having female characters show their cleavage, we're seeing more of a butt silhouette. The awful catacombs that my father forbade me from entering are now open. I know his secrets. He has fought to hide the truth from me, but I have learned of the darkness within him. He has offered his very soul to the demon that controls him now. His heart was lost long ago, and what replaces it? War and conquest and murder. The horrendous woman who yearns to have me call her mother. I know everything she's planning. She's the cause of all of this. The horrid old crone. So long as she lives, I'm no way safe. What happened? What is this? Please no, I'm in danger. I'm your daughter. Please, remember, stop, don't beat me. This is all her fault. So you're just getting like the whole backstory there. And that was just straight up jump. So we now know that the freezing attack can stop the dashing enemies. So I guess the question to ask here. These shield characters still really slow the process down. And even being able to potentially jump in the air, I don't think it's going to help that much. And almost certainly, this isn't Like, he seems like he has a defense regardless. Yep. So the question we're trying to figure out here is it possibly a little bit safer to go through this room now? Just wait for this spot. Things are knocking me down still quite a bit. Effectively, these are just like traps, I guess. Oh. So is there going to be a point where we reach over to the end of this library and the ghosts stop attacking us, or is it just going to be forever? I would definitely describe them more as nuisances than actual dangerous enemies. This might be that this is a more transitional area, and as such you are supposed to just kind of run from it all. I'm totally at full health here though, so as long as I can somewhat get around this awkwardness, it does seem like you can handle this fairly well. The fact that the game is so willing to let you... We've learned a new skill. Interesting. Like, the fact that the game is so willing to let you just kind of constantly get mana, constantly get small amounts of gold, does really imply that there is no need to grind, or that there will always be an opportunity to grind. Where are we? I guess we're in this tiny little library area. We should also, since we have a new skill, power upper seems weird that you press down and B to do that, but let's stick with that. I think it's fairly obvious that in the order you're likely to find these skills, that is the order in which they should be applied in the slots. So, Your Majesty, I know how much you sacrificed in your efforts to defeat the Academy. The foolishness of the Academy, their barbaric trickery, was their own downfall. The kingdom of Esconi shall never fail. The rest of the world may bow to the Academy, but we shall stand strong. Damn Wexenworth bastards. on our mana enhanced general. Will crush you like the worms you are. Our commander has accepted the blood of our king. The weakness has been washed away. So long as our king stands, the power shall be endless. I know, your majesty. I know about your philosopher's stone. You have been granted immortality, and our kingdom has been granted the divinity under your reign. ... No, this is impossible. The philosopher's stone. You treacherous W word. Your majesty, I offer my fresh flesh to ease your pain. Now I am nothing. I feel only what flows through the river of death. Now I am nothing. I feel nothing. Alright, so that's where this one stops. So he seemingly willingly sacrificed himself to this king. And I question whether this is a story where there is a single right side and wrong side to all of this. It may very well be that the Academy and other groups were just at war, and maybe the story will boil down to the Academy has just been at war with so many different people that it by default is going to seem like the Academy is evil. I'm just going to go ahead and run out of here. Yep. And we are just really at a point now where I'm questioning 5% more damage when rage is full, or attack 5% in general, or attack plus 5 in general. Rising attack does more damage. Gold drop 5%. We can't afford that one. Increase all elemental damage. Defense plus 5. I think that's what we want, is to probably focus on the defense upgrades. Anything else we might be able to bump up? It's probably not a big deal. If we can bump anything up for 100. I don't think we can at this point. Right, we're at 86 with this weapon. I don't think anything's going to beat that. This says haggle 2 and haggle 2 twice. I wonder if these were always 2s, or if they slowly leveled up while I was using them. I don't think they leveled up, but they may have. Really need to just find a save spot, but instead we'll just move forward. Nearly dying here. There is a problem, certainly, where I imagine this game might play a little bit better if there was specific times in which you were encouraged to level up, even if the game didn't really force you to level up only at those specific times. For instance, when we fought that sub-boss battle, when we fought the mechanical bird-like creature, had that mechanical bird-like creature then said that the player generally leveled up and its base stats generally leveled up based on XP, and at that point it would bring up the menu and ask you to potentially buy. Let's see, is this going downward? Yes it is, because we needed the skeleton key to open the gate. So we did have to go in that whole area. Open the door using the skeleton key. So then the question is, do we still have the skeleton key? I think the answer to that is no. More dialogue. It doesn't have to taste good. You just have to be able to keep it down. Alright, so he is a shopkeeper. Ghost. Interesting. Making me clean all this pig crap all day. What kind of joke is he trying to play? So, how many of these do we even have? We have ridiculous amounts of should I buy a gold amulet for 13,000 when I probably will find one? I kind of think the answer is probably yes. And then should I buy like 3 or 4 of these for 5,000? Sure. Strength potions, stone skin potions, I don't think are necessary. I'm just gonna not read that dialogue. It is definitely setting me up for a boss battle, which we have already gone an hour, so let's see. I don't know if this is rooms to get us to get a general feel of layout, or if this is interconnected rooms for some other reason. Yeah, we're going that way, which means ideally we go the other way first. Like many games, we're kind of stuck in a spot where interesting, there was nothing there. Like we're kind of stuck in the spot where we're doing 3 or 4 attacks of damage, and we would prefer to be able to attack enemies and get at least 1-hit kills on some of the lower enemies. But for a combo-based game, I wouldn't be super surprised if that doesn't really happen ever. I can't help but feel, as somebody who hasn't played a Castlevania game, I can't help but feel like this is directly leading towards something very reminiscent of a Castlevania experience. It definitely feels like there's some repetition here also. This is a new area, but sure feels like a previous area. That was very lucky turn of events there. Of course, the real danger is that you just end up walking somewhere and then it says you can't go any further in this direction. But it's better to be thorough and investigate, unlock potential skills and weapons and armor upgrades. There's a lot of statues here, so they look like fairly lovingly animated depictions of some female form, and noticeably they could be a lot more lewd, even though some of the clothes are kind of skin tight. It's hardly like topless Marvel statuettes. They could have been. We found a rusty key. And we get some music playing extra on top of the music already playing. This is actually the kind of variety you'd like to see, is you'd like to see some differences instead of just the, hey, I'm out there two-piece bikini outfit, to contrast the two-piece bikini outfit. I guess we have more to look at. We'll just go this way. Ooh. That's interesting. So potions can turn you to statues. While we're doing that, let's see if we can increase our defense anymore. And go ahead and equip the extra money in favor of defense. We don't have any, I imagine, other things to think about. This snowflake, I suppose, is better. So if I was going to spend a bunch of mana on it, I could upgrade it and try and put sigils in it. But we would need some kind of ability that I just don't see. Sell items for 10% more gold. We need something that would say unlock items, or dispose of items for more. I don't know if that green barrel actually did any extra damage to any of the other enemies. But yeah, if we had a way to get more mana from disposing items, then we would be set up in a much nicer position to start to think about upgrading weapons. It also feels to me like there's probably a fairly limited amount of weapons in general in the game. Yeah, well, do these bigger characters hit harder? Probably. We might be getting introduced to a concept of really big enemies. So let's just run this way. Really feels like it's just that this is a dungeon. Alright, so we can't apparently get through this area. Let's just make sure we can't dodge through that. Noticeably, it seems like we can't get any further. This may just be a case where this dungeon connects to a bunch of other areas. Yeah. That's very much how this may play out, is that this area just connects to a bunch of other areas. I think I was about to fall off the edge and the game actually helped me there. That meat chunk. Alright. Two big guys. Toggle the lever. I guess that probably I haven't really been doing the dodge and spear attack as much, but I kind of don't need to do it either. Like, now I've unlocked enough random attacks from button mashing that there's just no real value in this, in specifically just trying to spam the same attack over and over again. Any XY combination seems to do something. Gate was unlocked, obviously, by the toggle, which means we didn't need the rusty key for that. Use this door. Open this door with the rusty key. Sure. Let's see what's in here. Toggle this lever and we'll figure out what that did. I assume that probably opened up another gate that was here, anywhere where we see this area. This is a lot for this dungeon, but there very possibly are only 2-3 dungeons. We are now, I guess, looking for another rusty key to come back later. These ghosts seem enthusiastic that they can just chase me. They're more than happy to chase me. Am I on solid ground? Yes, I am. I thought for a second that this was platforms, but it's really just that there's a bunch of foreground stuff. I've been poisoned. Does it matter that I've been poisoned? Probably not. Apparently you can be poisoned by the spikes also. So rusty keys are almost like Zelda like keys in this game. There's going to be one for every door. I can see really struggling to get back out of that area. And increasingly, it's just not worth it to... Yeah, I'm still just looking for a save file. It's just not really worth it to go through these rooms as much as we are. See, now we have Force Unleash, and we'll put that in this spot. Probably one of the reasons why I'm not being able to use the B attacks as much as I'd like is I'm probably playing with the analog stick when I really should be playing with the D-pad to get a pure left, right, up, down, and B. How terrible, but it seems I have no choice, my king. But I am too scared. You've not a wrinkle in your face, yet you've seen so many queens fell to the curse of mortality in your lifetime. And your form, like nothing of this world. No, please, have mercy. I had no say in this. It was his idea. He was behind this. And the princess, yes, the princess asked me to do this. No, Arg, what are you doing? What is this? You monster. He told me to use the dagger to return you to normal. I love you, my king. Please don't. Ah, no, get away from me. My body, you're going to tear me apart. Oh gods, he's chewing. Please, don't do this. Someone will save me. The Academy will save me. So this king definitely turned into some kind of monstrous character that's just eating all the other people and leaving them as ghosts. And I think that was the queen potentially trying to blame it on the princess. Some form of treachery that I think probably was necessary, as the king seems to have increasingly turned into a demonic monster. Here we can see kind of like demonic faces in the background. This would be funny if this is the main game and there's really only one or two other dungeons in the entire game, but you run into this problem, and particularly with Metroid games, which I can speak to a little bit better because I've actually played Metroid games versus Castlevania games. But you are running into this problem where you defeat this dungeon and you're going to be a little tired on the whole idea of dungeons for a while, so you're going to want something else. And I don't know what that something else really could be in an effective manner, because if it's just more dialogue and conversations, that'll also be fairly boring. What I'd ideally like is to defeat this dungeon and then have a voice cutscene happen. So finally we have someone here, and we'll talk to him in the next recording since we're going so long anyways. And yeah, this requires the holy statue, which means we can't go any higher there anyways, which means there is an argument for going towards just more damage, more attack. We could go more critical, which arguably is probably your best bet. Let's go more critical. Could also go more HP, and that would also solve the defense at some level. Is there anything else we could upgrade? Luck plus 5. That sounds like that was a smart move. So we can't do Rune Warden 3, and I'm not sure what unlocked the ability to do Rune Warden level 2 even. It did kind of just seem to be something we could all of a sudden do. Yeah, and I don't think I really have enough to afford anything else. Power upper costing less rage. Rage plus 20. Sure. Yep. What would be crazy is if we filled this completely in and then it zoomed out and there was something more to this. And there was a whole nother set of abilities. And I know a lot of these abilities are really, really expensive, so even though it looks like we've potentially filled out half of this, that doesn't inherently mean we're halfway through the game. 986 versus 96. I probably should start getting rid of some of these weapons. Defense by 10, decrease damage taken by 10%. I think defense by 10 is way higher of a value than damage taken by 10%. Because Well, it might be one or the other. If you're taking potentially 100 damage and you reduce it by 10%, then that would be 10 reduced. Whereas defense usually is subtracted directly from attack, so if an attack of 107 was attacking a creature with a defense of 10, then you would then be doing 97 damage. Yep. Typically, base stats of a defense is way better than percentage stats after the fact in most of these games. And they try to stay somewhat consistent. A whole bunch of, I guess, consumables if we were going to need to eat things. And a whole bunch of sellables, which maybe would let us buy things. I don't know what we really need to even buy. Every time we've been into a store, so far we've been able to afford everything. So unless we get to that final shop before the final boss and we need millions and millions of gold, seems like we're just doing very well. Now we are playing this on normal mode, so there is something to be said about this game perhaps being a lot more difficult if we weren't doing normal mode. We now have a luck of 5, and luck, I'm not sure exactly what that does, but it obviously does something. We fought 2 of the main bosses, and seems like there might be a 3rd level of wolf that we'll fight at some point. Most of this is starting to be filled in, which just gives me more of a feeling that we might be halfway through the game, or at least maybe a third of the way through the game. There's not really anything else we can do. Alright, so we are very, very late at 1 hour and 30 minutes. Obviously, we are right at a boss fight every single time. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.